is suffering over a clash by two party bigwigs. The crisis rocking the party in the state has deepened as Governor Hyson Talia inaugurated a new interim state chairman for the APC in Makurdi. The governor, who expressed regret over suspension of Austin Agada by his ward executive committee, which was followed by a court injunction restraining him from parading himself as the state chairman of APC, said he faced pressure from stakeholders in Zone C who wanted a replacement for the vacant position in order to keep the party running. Mikhail, Benue State APC has been immersed in crisis since the governor assumed office. I mean, there were allegations they sacked the elected local government chairman in the state, and now issues over the suspension, or rather sacking the state chairman of the party. What's happening?
When I read that the governor said he's saddened by the removal of Austin Agada, I just shook my head. But earlier, he's a priest. But when a priest becomes a politician, he begins to behave exactly like the politicians. Father Alia knows what he's doing. This whole game, I've talked about what was going on in Benue when Wike had these issues with Fubara, and he was behaving like he's the first person to be betrayed. I mentioned the fact that in Benue, what was going on was similar. The SGF, I pity him. I really pity George Akume, because he helps people to take power and they always turn against him. So maybe it just happened to Wike and they won't let the world rest. It's been happening repeatedly to this fellow. I don't know anybody that George Akume helped to become governor who did not turn against him. No one. It's just a matter, okay, when will they turn against him? That they won't turn against him, when you go down memory lane, it's a given that they will turn against him. The effort that he made to make earlier governor, when you look back, you will not want to see what is happening. All that Father Alia and his people are doing is to take the structures of the party from Akume. You know, in the APC, I will admit that by APC convention, the governor is the leader of the party in the state. But problems always arise when you have a governor, you know, having to contend with somebody who had been governor too before. It happened in Kano, Shekarau and Ganduje. It happened in Kano, Ganduje and Kwankwaso. Both Shekarau and Kwankwaso had been governor at one point. So to subordinate themselves to a governor as the new leader of the party, because they believed that they are the leaders. Akume undoubtedly had been the leader of the party. Now, to now say that, okay, a person that he made, because Father Alia can't deny that Akume made him governor. He wasn't in their party. He wasn't a practicing politician. He was just a priest. And Akume did everything possible just to make sure that he won the election. And when I talk about everything possible, including the mode of the primaries, if they had allowed delegate election, Alia would have been defeated. Because there were other people like Barnabas Gemade and others who had been in the party for long. There is no way he will defeat them in a primary election using the delegate module. So that is that. He did everything possible. He became the carrier of the party. The matter went up to even PDP sued. Because PDP realized that there was crisis in the manner he might. They sued, but they didn't win. Now, their first battle was in the assembly. The governor, the SGF, had a candidate, a different candidate, a woman as speaker, Becky Opia. The governor had a different person. That was Aundona Dajo. They contested the election. The first one ended 17-17. They had to do another election. By the time they did the second election, Ali had moved around sufficiently, and his candidate defeated Akume's candidate by, I think, 18-16. That was the first. And I've said it here repeatedly, that Father Alia did what no governor had ever done. They are contesting election in House of Assembly. You sat with them just to be sure that, okay, your own candidate is mine. It's not your business sitting with them during their election. You are not a lawmaker. Once you inaugurate a house, you step forward. You step aside for them to conduct their business. You sat with them. Just to be sure that, oh, in this contest, this man does not have his way. It ended. Ask people in Benue State, people who are informed, how many commissioners did Akume nominate into that government? There has been that Cold War. I've talked about that Cold War from the last time I visited Benue. I've talked about the Cold War between both men. So it's not Wike alone that is facing what looks like, oh, this person betrayed me. I put this person there, he does not want to see me again. It's the same tactics that they used against Oshomole that they brought. Get some people within your ward to say, you as the chairman, we are sending you packing. I've also heard that, oh, the chairman was also involved in some financial improprieties and all that. Maybe that's true. I don't know. But what I know is that Father Alia wants to be the towering figure within the APC in Benue. He wants to brush the man who enabled him to win election. He wants to brush him aside and install himself as the undisputed leader of the party in the state. And with someone at, like the SGF, very high position at the federal level. And all these years he's always been a strong politician. You know it will be difficult. But that's what they started. When the first people who came out to say they had suspended him, the man said, no, you made this announcement, you are a former chairman at the world level. While they were doing a press conference trying to dismiss those who those who announced that they have suspended the chairman, police moved in, chased everybody away. Who does not know who sent police to the APC headquarters in Benue? Of course, it's Father Alia and his people. Now, they've got a court injunction to say, oh, Austin Agada, never parade yourself again, is achieving his aim gradually. What could eventually happen is for them to have the ESCO in the state dissolved totally, so that it's not the chairman alone that they will send packing. And then the governor will put his own people. That is the plan. The NWC of APC came to Benue to say, we are handling this issue, we are resolving it, we will resolve it amicably. You and I know that they don't know what they are talking about. There is nothing being resolved amicably. within the state ESCO, there are those who support Akume, there are those who support Father Alia. I just hope that they are not laying the foundation for the defeat of the APC in the next round of election, because APC has a reputation for grabbing defeat with both hands when they could have easily won. You get my logic, my analogy. That's what they do. They snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. That is their nature, and it's things like this. When did the governor take over that? All of this have begun to happen.
Thank you, Bikio. Adeoye, I mean, this is some drama you would expect from career politicians, not a first-time governor. Yeah. Isn't this too early?
Yes, absolutely. The governor of the state in this season, unlike in those days, is the chairman of, is more or less like the leader of the party in the state. But that does not mean that a leader that will be a dictator, that would not listen to the various tendencies that are in that state. I think Father Alia rode on the crest of populism. A lot of people like him and all that. But that was not enough to have won that election. Gani Fahimi was a very popular person in Nigeria. You understand?
Are you sure it's not because, I mean, he's a priest and people thought you...
There's a need for structure, no matter how popular you are. And what happened was that in Benue, it was the structure of Akume that brought him to power, not just his popularity. Gani Falana contested the election in Ekiti State. Are they not popular? Popular, very. You need structure. You need structure. Ward level, you know, local government level, and all that. Now, having come to power, I think that managing the intricacy requires a lot of wisdom. You are not running a theocratic state whereby your dictation is law. This is a democratic institution. And for the fact that some people brought you in there, you have to tread carefully. And the former governor, for that matter, who also happens to be the SSG today. So for me, I think politics is compromise. There is no way you can take everything. Look at the former chairman that was suspended, Agada. Out of 27 in the ESCO, 8 people suspended him. The man that signed the former chairman, he left in December. And a supervisory councillor.
That's some illegality.
Supervisory councillor.
They don't bother.
Supervisory councillor, not even the chairman of the ward, of the Hagi ward. So
it was because they saw that would not fly. They didn't use the court.
Yeah. Now you have gone to high court, but there is a possibility that you can also go and appeal, and then the case continues. For me, I think the governor should realize that he is going to be the loser, because you are just coming to settle down. There is the prosperity. There is a prospect of distraction. If you have a lot of conflict in your party, you cannot deliver dividends of democracy. So after 4 years, you will not have been able to leave any milestone because of crisis here and there. And the possibility of having second term will be very difficult. It will be very difficult if you continue this way. So I was thinking that you should look for, because you know the National Working Committee came and told them that they should set aside that suspension. They didn't listen. So you should tread very carefully. And if people have provided you with a ladder to get up, I don't think the right thing is to look back and throw away the ladder.
Bikio, talking about resolving internal crisis within political parties in Nigeria, how do they make sure this doesn't get messier than it is now?
I don't know. Because when individuals are resolute in pursuing the cause, even with a gun to their necks, they won't stop. The Father Alia's his intention is clear, just as I said, and even going as far as using the police to disrupt people doing press conference, trying to explain their position on an issue. I mean, it's undemocratic. It's undemocratic. Well, that's the thing. That's what they did. And the following day, they then used the High Court. They used the High Court to tell Austin Agada not to parade himself And I don't know why the governor believes that he must install his own chairman. Because Austin Agada was loyal to him. He's been on our program, if you remember, and was full of praise for the governor and some of the things that the governor has begun to do. Now, someone told me that the SGF said, Shebi, the immediate past governor didn't fight him until after 3 years. This person didn't even wait for more than 3 weeks. He didn't even wait for more than 3 weeks before he started fighting him. So these things, that's why some of us will never have anything to do with politics. Because in politics, people behave like being morally mean is right. And I don't think it can be right to be morally mean. I don't think so. I will not wish that they settle their difference because I know they can't settle it. So I know it's clear. Adalia must have felt that if he produced the speaker, then they could use the house to fight him. So from the beginning, he made sure he didn't get it. Sometimes you help people, and as soon as they get there, they already have a plan against you. So that's what we are seeing. And the SGF is such a gentlemanly person, but it is what it is.
We need to move on quickly, but before then, loyalty and politics. Do they ever, I don't know.
Well, there are people that we have seen cases of loyalty.
Of course.
You know, we have also seen cases of disloyalty, you know, but it's unfortunate that there are some kind of disloyalty you cannot explain. You are nobody, somebody has brought you somewhere to, and then the first thing is to stab the person that has brought you. I can't just understand.
Within 2 weeks.
You know.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. Let's move on quickly. It's the season